pleasant-sounding rustic canyon lies in the eastern Palisades on the west side of Los Angeles, California, lying between the Pacific Palisades and the Brentwood neighborhoods of LA. It's a mixture of residential properties and natural habitat, Rustic Canyon and Santa Monica Canyon cutting into the Santa Monica Mountains facing the Pacific Ocean. Heavily wooded and lush, it has a cooler microclimate compared to most other areas of LA, being humid and often foggy. Over the years, the canyon has attracted individuals, stars, and developers who built pleasant second homes and annual retreats, the relative isolation of the area attracting many wealthy people and groups wanting privacy. What many Americans don't realize is that in Rustic Canyon, some 20 miles from downtown LA, there survives a Nazi compound, complete with bunker dating from before World War II, the notorious Murphy Ranch. Nazism was quite popular all over the world before World War II, and the US had its fair share of Hitler fellow travelers, mostly disgruntled anti-communists and fascist types, some of whom were wealthy and powerful. In a previous video, I covered the German-American Bund, a full-on Nazi organization established in 1936 and headed by Fritz Julius Kühn until it was dissolved in 1941. It accrued 25,000 members and wore uniforms including Nazi symbols, and it worked to promote Nazi Germany to Americans from its headquarters in Manhattan in New York City. It organized training camps all over the U.S. and was vocal in its criticisms of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, Jewish Americans, communism, trade unions, and maintained links with Hitler's regime, Kühn himself meeting the Führer at the Reich Chancellery in Berlin in 1936. Its most infamous moment was a rally it held at Madison Square Garden in New York on the 20th of February 1939, attended by 20,000 people. Another Nazi organization in America during this period was the slightly older Silver Legion of America, founded in 1933 by fascist and Nazi sympathizer William Dudley Pelley, headquartered in Asheville, North Carolina. Novelist and screenwriter Pelley was an avowed anti-Semite and founded the Silver Legion to bring about, quote, spiritual and political renewal in America, end quote, inspired by Hitler's coming to power in Germany. The Silver Shirts, as the organization was also called, wore a uniform based upon that of the Nazi SA, the Sturmabteilung or brown shirts. A silver shirt with a blue tie, a campaign hat or Stetson, and blue corduroy trousers with leggings. A scarlet letter L was worn over the heart, the L standing for love, loyalty, and liberation. By 1934, the Silver Legion numbered some 15,000 members. Pelley ran in the 1936 presidential election as an independent under the banner of a Christian Commonwealth in America that excluded Jews and non-whites. He claimed he could save America from Jewish communists. Needless to say, Pelley did not win. By 1937, the Silver Legion's membership had shrunk to some 5,000 members. The connection to the property in LA began in about 1933. When the property was purchased by the shadowy Jessie M. Murphy, but no one ever saw her, and it is suspected that she was a front name. The name Murphy, however, remains associated with the ranch. The money came from Winona Stevens, an engineer involved in silver mining in Colorado, and his wife Winona, the daughter of a wealthy industrialist. Winona had developed strong beliefs in metaphysics and other psychical practices, apparently falling under the sway of a mysterious German named Schmidt, who it was suspected was a Nazi agent. The Stevens were sympathetic to the Silver Legion and may have been members. They certainly believed that some kind of future calamity was going to befall America, a calamity from which some kind of Nazi state would arise, and they saw themselves front and center in its creation. The Stevens sank $4 million in 1930s prices into the construction of a huge compound of buildings because they had become convinced that the US would fall and Nazism would emerge victorious. The complex was to be a command center for Nazism in the region as anarchy followed the collapse of FDR's government, something the German-American Bund, the Silver Legion, and many other Nazi groups were hoping and planning for. The hillside above the ranch was terraced with a built-in sprinkler system to irrigate food crops. Concrete staircases were built into the hillside. A 395,000-gallon water tank was constructed, as well as a power station fitted with double diesel generators, as well as a 20,000-gallon diesel fuel tank. A 2-story steel-framed garage and machine shed was built, an air raid bunker, and plans were also made for a 4-story mansion, but it appears the Stevens eventually ran out of money before it could be built. Interestingly, Winona Stevens hired a black architect to draft later plans for the estate. Paul Williams did design and build the ornamental gates that survive today. Quite a number of Nazis moved in, and the ranch was carefully guarded by armed men. Paramilitary-style maneuvers took place at weekends, locals noting people driving up from LA and driving back again at night. What was going on inside the compound has been the subject of rumor ever since, but the Stevens Nazi colony did catch the attention of the FBI, who watched the place and its comings and goings with interest and growing concern. On the 8th of December 1941, the day after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, J. Edgar Hoover ordered his agents to raid the Murphy Ranch. Herr Schmidt, the mysterious German, was arrested and found to be in possession of a powerful shortwave radio transmitter. In all, the FBI arrested and detained some 50 people at the ranch. Germany declared war on the US on the 11th of December 1941, and the Nazi organizations in America were dissolved. The Stevenses continued to live in the upper floor of the garage building until 1948, when they sold the ranch to the Huntington Hartford Foundation. It was combined with another property to the north to become an artist colony. It then passed to the Los Angeles Department of Parks and Recreation. The idea was to incorporate it into its Topanga State Park, but that would require all the structures being demolished, something LA couldn't afford to do then or now. So the ranch has fallen into disrepair and has been very heavily vandalized. There have been calls to demolish what remains, but also calls to preserve the ranch due to its unique history. Some efforts have been made recently to start to paint out the graffiti, and it remains a popular hiking destination. Its peculiar history, however, continues to attract all sorts of people and all sorts of goings-on. But I think it's fair to say that it is a unique part of the history of the city of LA and should be preserved in some form. Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook channel, War Stories with Mark Felton. You can also help to support both of my channels at PayPal and Patreon. Details in the description box below.